instead of getting charged, you can actually pull a few things out and stick it in your carry-on if you've got space. Hi, I'm Paige Killian, and I'm passionate about helping busy moms of littles get organized in 3 simple steps. So here's today's organization motivation. Hey, thanks for joining me today. I am getting ready to go to see my family for a month in Tennessee. And I've been doing a lot of prepping for that these last few days. And really, it kind of starts for me about a week ahead. So I wanted to share with you some of the things that I'm doing whenever I take a trip with the kids. These tips can absolutely be used year round, whether you're going with kids or not. But I will specifically talk about some of the things that I am going to do to prep ahead for the kids as well. So the first thing that I think about is, where am I going? What am I packing? What's the weather going to be like? And I also try to make sure, especially for us, because we go to Tennessee a lot, because that's where my family is. We live in California now. A lot of my family's in Tennessee. Because we go there so often, anything that I can leave behind from the last trip that fits the kids, even things that I can wear on the regular, no matter what the season, I try to leave those things there. So if you have a location that you're used to going to often, if you can leave anything there for you so that you can pack less, absolutely do that. Now, I will say things that I keep there tend to be like, I have this one cozy sweatsuit that I love there. And even in the summertime, I use it because if we've got air conditioning in the house, sometimes you're freezing. And so I do tend to keep one sweatsuit there, undies, socks, sports bras, a couple workout things, because when I go, my mom and I really like to hit the gym together. And I do have a pair of sneakers that I left behind because, again, that can get a little bulky and clunky in a suitcase. It can add to the weight. Make sure you are considering that whenever you get ready to pack. A lot of times, if your suitcase is over 50 pounds, which when it's me and the kids and we're going for a month, that's easy to do. If it's over 50 pounds, you're going to get charged when you get there. I highly recommend packing a second suitcase and that be a carry-on, and leave a little extra room. So that way, if you do feel that you're over the limit, or when you get up there, they put it on the scale and it's over the limit, instead of getting charged, you can actually pull a few things out and stick it in your carry-on if you've got space. So just something to consider. So the layout that we've got at this time is we're doing one large suitcase, one smaller suitcase. Both of those are going to get checked. Typically, we only pack in one suitcase, but this trip, I'm going to be going, actually, we're going to be having trips within trips. So I'm going to be going with the kids for a month. My husband is going to be coming out that last week, week and a half that we're there. And when he gets there, we're actually going to be going to the Bahamas for a wedding. And so a lot of times in the summer I go, we can wear really casual stuff, but because we're going to be going to a wedding, I wanted to make sure that I had an additional smaller suitcase so I don't have to take that big, huge one that I packed for the kids. They're going to stay behind with the grandparents. Thanks, Grandma and Papa. You're the best. And we get to whisk ourselves away and head to the Bahamas with a smaller suitcase. And so that was going to be ideal for that. And additionally, I'm going to be taking a lot more stuff this time than usual because we're going to be spending Father's Day in Tennessee. So I had gotten a gift for my dad. My brother got engaged. So I have a couple little things for his wife to be. And I also have some things that I'm going to be taking to a friend who just had a new baby and her other daughter. And some of the things that I had as I was going through my closet and doing a good purge, I was like, oh, these things will look so good on her. And I just wasn't grabbing for them as often. And I know they'll be her size. So I'm going to pack that stuff as well. Additionally, while we're there, my husband is going to have his birthday. And so I already pre-shot for that. So I have something in my suitcase for him, which hopefully he'll be carrying home in his suitcase after. So it'll make a little more room. So all of those things that I just mentioned, we will not be coming back with. Now, inevitably, because my kids have later birthdays, not later birthdays. They have earlier birthdays in the school year. So they have fall birthdays. A lot of times when we go out in the summertime, my parents like to give them a little birthday family dinner or a family party. Very low key, very simple. So we might end up coming back with a few things that they've gotten as early birthday presents. And so I will have room then for that because some of those items will have been unloaded from my suitcase already. So always thinking ahead as far as what luggage you have, what, if you're going to be going shopping, if you're going on a vacation with the kids or without them, if you're going to be doing any shopping or you're going to come back with stuff, you want to make sure that you've already got room in the suitcases that you took. Otherwise, you could just pack a collapsible duffel bag or something like that. So if you had extra, you can pop that open and maybe have a second carry-on. Now, one of the things too we prepared for is my son was getting ready to donate his backpack. It just wasn't one that he was going to want for next year. It was still in decent shape. And so we were going to donate it. But before we donated it, I said, you know what? If you're so comfortable carrying that backpack and it's really lightweight, it's got lots of good pockets, why don't we use that for a carry-on the plane? You can be responsible for that. He's almost 8 years old, so he can be responsible for that. It can carry things like his technology, like a little pillow, like a stuffy that he likes to carry on the plane, a blanket, his headphones, and some snacks. Now, that will still allow for us to put in a few extra things if we need to get stuff at the airport as we travel. So again, do consider, don't pack, if you can help it, don't pack your carry-on super full because you might end up getting a few things at the airport. Also, you want to be thinking ahead as well. If you are at the airport and you are delayed or your flight gets canceled, especially if you're traveling and you're not in your home state when your flight gets delayed, that's going to mean possibly having to go to a hotel. And you want to make sure that if for some reason your suitcase went on to the destination, but like if you had a connecting flight, for example, but you didn't get on that plane for whatever reason, and now you're at a hotel and you don't have stuff you need, I always like to make sure that I have at least enough for the kids to have an extra change of clothes if they needed it, always an extra pair of undies. Make sure that when you're packing ahead for their clothes, I always lay stuff out beforehand. Make sure that we have our airplane outfits. I always include like an extra over layer no matter what the season. Again, we're traveling in summer, but because it can get cold on the plane, or because you might want to take that sweatshirt off and ball it up and it turns into a pillow, that's always a good idea. I try to put out sneakers for us to walk on the plane with. So that's what we're actually wearing, the airplane outfits, I call them, because two reasons. One, if we do have to walk quite a bit in the airport, those are comfortable shoes. And two, because you don't want to have all the extra bulk in your suitcase, you can just have that already on your feet. So that's another tip that I always make sure that I do when I'm prepping ahead their outfits for the night. I prep my outfit ahead as well. I also have a sweatshirt too, and I have my sneakers as well. So those are great. I actually have these sneakers that I definitely recommend where you just slide your feet in and out, and that way you don't even have to deal with shoelaces. So any little bit that you can give yourself help, do it. Definitely do it. Your future self will thank you. All right. Another thing that I like to do when I'm packing ahead is I make sure that I pack some snacks for us, because absolutely we can get some stuff at the airport, but especially now after all of the pandemic stuff, a lot of places are still closed. So you might not be able to get exactly what you need. And sometimes the airlines are not carrying the same food and drinks that they had before. If you have an option of a collapsible water bottle, those are really great for packing. That way you can grab water at a restaurant at the airport, or you can grab water at a water fountain or something at the airport, and then you'll have that. Then you drink it on the plane, you collapse it, and you put it back in your backpack if you need. Certainly, if you have a disposable water bottle, that works as well. But again, we don't know these days what exactly is going to be allowed on the airplane, what is going to be provided for us. And so I like to always have those things available in our backpack if we can do that. As I mentioned, when I am prepping my outfit for the night before we get on the plane or the day before, I also make sure that I'm prepping makeup bag, the blow dryer, the curling iron, the brush, deodorant, like any of that stuff that I might need that day to actually put on my body. And then that is out on my bathroom countertop. I zip it up, everything is there. And that way I take that one container and I pop it in last minute in my suitcase. I did mention that I'm going to be traveling with some extra gifts, but one thing that we are going to miss, while we are going to get to see my dad for Father's Day, my husband will not be with us in Tennessee for Father's Day. It'll be a couple days later. And so one of the things I wanted to make sure I did is get a thoughtful gift and have that ready for him to see when we can tell him, you can go into the laundry room and grab it. And so I tucked that away. But what I did is about 2 weeks ago, I actually had done this in the past. I've shared it with you. There's this sock company called divvyup.com. And in the past, I've actually taken the kids' faces from their school yearbook photo, and they have taken their faces and put them on fun socks for my husband. And he loved them. We did that years ago when he was in London. We were going to miss him for Father's Day. And so we were able to get on a FaceTime, and he opened it and he absolutely loved the socks. So that was years ago. And the cool thing that they've come out with now is the kids can actually draw a picture, and they can take that image of their drawing and put it on socks. And so this time, because Duke has been playing baseball and Donnie has been assistant coaching him in that, and Isabel has been taking guitar lessons, and he and she both love doing that together. I had them both draw pictures of a baseball and a guitar, and we actually had those images put on socks for him. So we're really excited for him to get to open those up. Again, we'll just do an easy FaceTime, and then he'll open those, and it's special. I even went ahead and had the card written. It has inside, it has a special message to him, a Father's Day card that they did also at divvyup.com. And so that was all included. So I made sure that I left that here for him, again, in the laundry room, because I totally didn't think that he was going to be going into the laundry room while I was gone. Hopefully he'll do some laundry, but I thought that'll be a good hiding spot. He won't see it until we can say, hey, sorry, we're missing you. Actually go into the laundry room and you'll see we left you a surprise in there for Father's Day. So on that note, one of the things that I highly recommend when you are getting ready to go on a trip, especially if it's a substantial trip, make sure that you are doing as much laundry as you can ahead of time. So that way, when you come back, because inevitably you will come back with laundry, you are not already staring at a mountain of laundry that you left behind. For sure, do that. Now, another thing I like to do to prep ahead is making sure I'm cleaning the kitchen, putting away any dishes. So that way, when we return, you return to a clean, nice kitchen. I also like to go through my refrigerator and check and see if there's anything that is not going to stay good. Then I will go ahead and toss that. And one of the things that I had was a leftover meal, and I just wasn't going to have time to eat it before we left. So I tossed that. And because my husband's still going to be here, I'll have him actually put that in the trash outside later when it's trash day. That's another thing. If you can just think ahead, when is trash day? When can I coordinate? When can I make sure I'm getting all that stuff out of my fridge or pantry or anything that you don't need? If you can get rid of that trash before you leave, again, you're not going to come home to a huge, however long your trip is. For us, it's a month. If he were not here, he would obviously be here to be taking the trash out weekly. But if he were not here and you go for that amount of time, maybe ask a neighbor to actually take your trash out for you and then return the favor. So that way, if they're not going to be in town, you could take the trash out for them as well another time. So thinking ahead about those little things are really helpful. So another thing that I wanted to prep ahead is, as you know, I like to batch record my podcast episodes. I'm recording several of these so that when I go to Tennessee for the month, I don't have to worry about recording episodes there unless I want to. And so I'm actually trying to make sure I get not only ahead for that month, but also an additional week so that when I get back, I'm not immediately hit with, oh my gosh, I have so much work to do. I'm behind now. So making sure that if you have things for work, if you have priorities for the kids that need to be done, making sure that you can prep that stuff ahead before you get to that. So as I said, I like to batch record these podcast episodes. And so in case I do decide to record more while I'm in Tennessee, I want to make sure I do those last looks of my little podcast station that I have set up in my bedroom. I will make sure that I take, if I want to take my mic, if I want to take my laptop, I actually have a second laptop I'm going to be transferring some things on. Additionally, I want to make sure that I have all of my headphones and tech stuff all zipped up in a storage bag. So that's exactly where I need it in one place in my carry-on bag. And I just have that sitting on my dresser. And also, if you happen to have any medication, you want to make sure that you're going to set that out the night before and have that prepped. So all of those things I just mentioned are all in one area. So that way they're not scattered all over the house and I don't have to remember all of those things. I just prep them a couple of days before. So that way they're all in one location and then they'll get transferred down to my carry-on bag, all in one fell swoop. So I don't have to worry about having things scattered all over the place and trying to run around last minute because I forgot stuff. So hopefully these things will be helpful for you if you are getting ready to travel out of town with the kids, with or without them. Hopefully this has been helpful for you. If it was, share it with a friend. Happy traveling. Bye-bye. Hey, thanks for watching this video. For more resources to organize and style your busy life in 3 simple steps, head over to everythingwithstyle.com and connect with me on Instagram at everythingwithstylemom. Don't forget to check out the Mom's Organization Motivation podcast over on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any of your favorite platforms. And if you loved this video, it would make me so happy if you would subscribe and share it with your friends. Thanks so much for watching, and happy organizing.